ruining football. Chelsea and City ruining football.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay.
My point was basically what Chelsea and City are doing now, Arsenal and United have done in the past.
I mean, they have,
Yeah.
but it was still more standardized that like more clubs were able to do it at that time.
No, that's the thing. They weren't.
I'm pretty sure they were.
Go Google Bank of England Club 1930. Arsenal had 0 titles before that. The bank invested in them 8 years, 5 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, right then and there. Can you believe it?
Well, you got facts right here on the Six League podcast.
Oh, we started recording.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm very sneaky.
Oh, okay. All right. And hello, everybody. Okay, how long has this been going on?
Right before
Mhm.
you mentioned that, like, what Chelsea and City are doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's been done before.
It's been done before. Okay. I'm going to use Arsenal because that was the point of topic
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
team we had. You think about Arsenal, right? 1930, Bank of England Club. Whoever wants to search it up, go ahead.
Google's free, by the way.
Google's free. Wikipedia.
Last
is
I
free.
heard.
Yeah.
Wikipedia is free, but they encourage you to donate because it's free.
Have you ever donated?
I've never donated. Have you ever
Oh.
donated?
Of course, all the time. I donate my time and resources. Not any money because we don't have any. And whatever we have goes into our Karak's right over here. Tea time.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored, but please
Probably
sponsor.
should be at this point.
Literally, man. Every video we have, there's tea time. Like. But anyways, moving on.
Yeah, back to the topic of like
Back to-
how, you know, Arsenal, and tell us about the story. What happened?
So basically, we have a Twitter group, me and 2 other friends of mine, and one's an
Not
Arsenal
me.
fan.
I'm not in it. But go on.
But I'd still pick you over them every single day.
Okay,
of the
that's
week.
very nice, but like,
Okay.
story.
The story. So, again, you know, whenever there's any sort of transfer news, like, oh, Chelsea might be getting Haaland for 150 million, whatever, you know, anything, it gets sent in the group by the Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
And then they'd say, oh, look at Chelsea, look at City ruining football, look at them, you know.
Correctly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's no debate on that side. My point is, basically right now, what Chelsea and City and PSG are able to do now, Arsenal, United, and Liverpool have done that in the past.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying like it kind of justifies them reenacting it just like many years later?
No, yeah, but like I'm saying it's a cycle. At some point, one club or another is going to come and do it. And in 50 years, I'm sure there's going to be another club who's going to get some, you know, gajillionaire owner who's going to start
Yeah.
investing and make Chelsea and City look really poor or whatever at that point.
And then it'll be like City and Chelsea fans being like, hey, look at those plastic fans.
Exactly. No, because the thing is, right now we think Chelsea and City fans are plastic because their success is very short since 2004 and 2010 respectively.
Yeah.
In 50 years time, they'll be 50 years and 60 years, you know, with their
And
history.
they'll have like 20 titles or something.
Exactly.
Or probably even more.
Basically where
Yeah.
Arsenal and United and Liverpool are right now.
Okay.
And then we'll think, obviously, like, oh, wow, Chelsea and City, big clubs, you know, they've got so much history, so much titles. And now there's I don't know, let's say it's Aston Villa with the investment. Okay, Aston Villa were a big club in the past. They've
They
done
were
that. Let's
Champions League winners.
Yeah, let's use Sheffield Wednesday as an
Sheffield.
example.
I was going with Derby County, but
Okay, sure, why not? I think Sheffield Wednesday are pretty big as well in the
Yeah.
past. Yeah. Sure, Derby County, they get like some gajillionaire owner, you know, with
gajillion.
let's
We're
just
going with the gajillion. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but like gajillion
see in the
has been stated like 3 times now.
no,
How
see,
much is a gajillion, Omar?
No, Abdul Rehman, here's how I come to the gajillion
Okay.
number. I'm sure back in the 1900s, it was the thousands. Then it became the 100,000s. Then it became the millionaires. Now it's the billionaires and Abramovich and Sheikh Mansour.
Yeah.
After billionaires, what's next?
Trillionaires?
Oh, okay, sure. Trillionaires. No, that comes around 2030, 2040.
Okay.
I'm talking about
But
50
we're
years.
specifically going with 2071.
2071. One. Yes.
If math is correct.
Yeah. So the point that I was trying to get across was that Arsenal as a club were an average club. They had no FA Cups, no Premier Leagues up until 1930. Then they were bought by the Bank of England.
Okay.
They broke the transfer records multiple times there. At the time, it was 5 figures. That was the new record set by them. So there were signings worth
Probably like a lot of money worth
that
back
was a
then.
ridiculous, ruining football in 1930s, obviously.
1930s.
And then they won 5 Premier League titles before World War II started and halted football again within those 7 years.
Wow. That's something that I did not know. Like, in that perspective, I do get it, and it's very similar to all the other clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Like Madrid and Barcelona were like like Madrid especially have been funded a lot by the government.
Okay.
Like in the past, like the royal government, because it was the royal club.
Yeah.
It was literally the club, like quite literally, it was just a club
Mm-hmm.
of royals. Similarly, Barcelona was like funded by their local government a lot
Mhm.
of the time, and that stays true until today.
Mm-hmm.
So that status quo that has been maintained for so long,
Mm-hmm.
there is a reason for that, and it's just not because they've been playing phenomenal football.
Yeah. I think to be at the top, every club needs investment. Like, there's no getting around it. Look at Leicester City right now, yeah? They had the dream season, the fairy tale,
Yeah.
whatever. Mahrez left, Conte left, Vardy's now 35.
He's got like a year in him.
Exactly.
Max.
Madison's probably leaving as well. He
Yeah.
wasn't part of that squad, but he's one of the, young talents that was brought in. Tielemans, again, also linked, They didn't get that level of investment, and now you
Mhm.
can see them, like there's players going out every year, and you're not going to build on that. You're not going to, get to the very top if your best players keep on leaving every single year.
No, that's definitely true. I agree with you. So like but like there has to be like boundaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know much about like what's his face, Arsenal in the 1930s,
Mm-hmm.
but I am gonna go to Chelsea
Okay.
in 2000s.
Okay.
When Chelsea came and spent $1 billion,
Mm-hmm.
right? The next club wasn't like too far behind.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was spending. Inter was spending. Madrid were spending. Barcelona were spending.
Yeah.
These clubs were spending, so the gap wasn't too ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but
City.
you look at it, like it's about the proportions,
Mm.
right? I'm not saying like money's bad because it's illogical. Side note: if you've watched the English Game on Netflix,
I have not.
it's a beautiful show, and it just goes on about how football in the beginning was an unpaid thing.
Mhm.
You had like to be a football player, you just had to be a part of a factory or like a company,
Mm-hmm.
and you played as like an employee of the company. So
Uh-huh.
you just that status of you being an employee just
Mhm.
transferred to you representing them since you're an employee of them.
Yeah.
However, what happened is that these poor, what's it called, workers, those that were good at football, like people were like, why don't you come work in our factory?
Yeah.
We'll pay you more. Yeah, and
Yeah.
obviously that cycle took off, and
Mhm.
more and more players just started to move around.
Mm-hmm.
And I completely forgot what was that one club. They went to one club and they bought all of them, and they were the first FA Cup, the working class FA Cup winners.
Mm.
I forgot now. It's
Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest.
no, I think it might have been Derby.
Oh.
Yeah, like okay, so this this I guess like you can check on your
Okay.
phone. Why don't you check on your
Yeah,
phone?
I'll check it out.
But yeah, like this cycle's been going on since
Mhm.
the very beginning of football, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you look at the 2000s, Chelsea spent a lot,
Mm.
right? They did. It was like fresh investment, but it wasn't ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
However, you look at City
Mm-hmm.
spending these years, like how they've been consistently spending despite
Mm-hmm.
everything, and that's not where it stops. The financial fair play is there for a reason,
Yeah.
right? If
Mhm.
that's never been upheld, and we've seen City come so close time and time again,
Mm-hmm.
right? PSG like come close time and time again. Like Chelsea been banned
Mm-hmm.
from transfer windows because of financial fair play.
Oh, that point was also brought up in our debate, which I will get to.
Yeah, so like all these things, like these are clearly red indicators, like something's wrong. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's a proportion, there's a system, and like these
Mhm.
guys are abusing it.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to like the other clubs, right?
Yeah.
They've not been able to sustain this much spending. Like the big
Mhm.
clubs like Barcelona, Madrid,
Mhm.
what's it called? Bayern Munich,
Mhm.
Juventus. Like these were the clubs that historically would have spent your gajillions.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
At that point, maybe
yeah,
millions.
yeah, and now they can't, spend to save their life.
Mm. So, okay, just speaking about the. Okay, so one topic we talked about was Chelsea, right? And as the point you just made, they got a transfer ban. I would like to add that the transfer ban had nothing to do with overspending
Oh,
on players.
what was it on?
It was.
Underage.
Yeah,
Oh,
underage.
it was the
There
same one
was.
that the Madrid and Barcelona got.
Really? It was?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, funny enough, like Madrid, we got one.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the players that was underage and not allowed to play was Lucas Zidane,
Oh, okay.
Zidane's son.
Yeah. But
And
why though? His
It
dad's in
was
Spain.
his dad was working for what's it called? I think he was going through his badges, or he was coaching the Castilla team at that time,
Mhm.
the B team,
Mhm.
the youth team. But yeah, like it was they appealed, and that's why it got shortened to one window.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I think for Chelsea, they had a legitimate reason. Vitesse FC.
Yeah. No. Basically, so the reason Chelsea got the ban was because in England you can only get a working visa if you're 18 and
For
above.
18, yeah.
So they signed two players that were below 18 from foreign leagues, which you can't do. Your parents need to be like
In the country, working. Yeah,
for
same
you
rule
to-
in Spain. Yeah.
And they signed two players that, well, they I guess
Yeah, they
bended the rules or whatever
yeah.
to do, which was the reason for the ban. So it was nothing to do with that. Again, now talking about Chelsea spending specifically, the ridiculous amount of money that went into the club was from a period between 2004 and 2010.
Yeah.
And since then, the net spend has been negative.
No,
generally.
listen, for
Mhm.
Chelsea recently, I don't think they've spent ridiculous amounts.
Mhm.
You pull out the numbers, like they're not that
Mhm.
extraordinary.
I-
However,
Mhm.
the likes of the Manchester clubs, like I'm not gonna let United get
Mhm.
away with this one.
I brought this point up too.
United have been
Mm.
spending crazy since like 2010, 2011. They bought Di Maria for 75 million. They bought Lukaku. They bought Pogba. Those are big spendings, but that together is like nearing like 250 million.
The top 5 most expensive transfers in England of all time, 4
All-
of them are from United.
Insane.
So
So I wouldn't let United get away with this one either.
exactly.
I think it's like a legitimate like case against both the Manchester clubs.
Mhm.
Now, time and time again, you see United fans complain, even with some of our friends. They're like, oh, like they're not signing the right players. Yeah, sure, you're spending a lot of money on bad players, but
You're still spending
you're
the money.
spending a
Yeah.
lot of you're even if you're buying dead wood for 40 million,
Mhm.
you bought dead wood for 40 million.
Mhm.
That could have been 40 million spent elsewhere too.
Yeah. The thing is, this point was brought up as well in that debate. Chelsea spent 230 million last window.
Yeah.
We raised over 200 from Hazard and Morata sales alone,
Yeah.
and we weren't able to spend any of that because of the ban.
Of the man. So
So-
that like accumulated.
Since the summer of 2014, there have passed 14 transfer windows, 2 for which Chelsea have got the ban, and Chelsea have only had a positive net spend in 3 of those 12.
Yeah.
So, the likes of Morata, we bought for 50 million. He had the worst stint of all time.
Sold him
Sold him for a
70.
profit. Yeah,
Yeah.
60 something. I mean, we buy deadwood, but then we sell the deadwood for the right price as well.
I think that's still like making the best out of the worst situation for
Mm.
Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at City, right?
City, yeah.
They it's ridiculous. Like they
Yeah.
bought 4 fullbacks,
Mm.
brand new fullbacks,
50 million.
50 million. Like
Mm.
these days, like you look at the big clubs,
Mm-hmm.
they're struggling to raise 50 million from wage cuts.
Yeah.
They're struggling to raise 50 million just to like
Any specific club we have in mind?
I don't know, but when I close my eyes, it becomes red and blue. So yeah,
Man, their new kit looks so bad. Have you seen it?
it looks ugly. I'm
Yeah.
not even like
Oh my
not even
God.
because I'm a Madrid fan, but
yeah,
like,
it just looks
the
ugly.
Barcelona kit just looks bad.
Honestly.
Just looks bad. But getting back on point,
Mhm.
right? City, right? They've been replacing company,
Yeah.
and first they were finding a partner for
Yeah.
company. Oh, they need to find the right partner, because
How many center backs have they bought in the last 6 years?
too many. Like
Exa-
like if you look at any other club,
Yeah.
right? If you're not gonna give those players some time,
Mm-hmm.
right? Obviously, they're not gonna gel.
Exactly.
It's just the most logical thing. I'm sorry, but like after one season, you just can't go to the market and buy another 50 million, 70 million defender.
Nathan Ake, what a pointless signing that was for 50 million.
And I remember like Chelsea fans, like when he went to Bournemouth, he was at Chelsea before, right?
Mhm.
And Chelsea fans wanted him, and they were like,
Mhm.
"Oh, got it." And then I was like, Chelsea fans must be so disappointed now that he's going to City.
Mhm.
But then I saw him play.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be honest, I wasn't really following Bournemouth.
Mm.
What's a Bournemouth? Jack
Yeah.
Wilshere. But, like 50 million
Yeah.
for this guy? Like, it gets ridiculous after a point.
Yeah.
How many wingers do you need? Right?
Mhm.
Like, Sané left the club because he didn't get enough playing time.
Leroy
Sané.
Sané, exactly.
That's like insane levels like, at
Mm.
this point. And you can't be like, oh, they need to sign a striker
Yeah.
when they already have a young striker in Gabriel Jesus. But apparently they cannot spend because the pandemic, they hit them so bad. Like, the strikers, the price is just too much. Like,
Why Chelsea play so good?
it's and like they've just bid 100 million for Grealish.
And another 100 probably for Kane very soon.
Probably more than 100.
Probably
but
more,
like
130 or something.
it's I mean, those levels are pretty ridiculous,
Yeah.
if you look at that. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say it now. When it comes to this kind of ridiculousness,
Mhm.
and the old guard cannot keep up,
Yeah.
the likes of Barcelona, Madrid, Juventus can't keep
Mhm.
up.
Yeah.
I don't blame them for going to a Super League, what's it called, notion, because they want to stay relevant.
Yeah.
If you think about it, they just want to stay relevant. They just want to be remembered after 10 years. They
Mhm.
do not want to become an Aston Villa or what's it called, Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
They don't want to be like a has-been,
Yeah.
because football is all about current events,
Mhm.
right? Despite like however rash you might think it is, when it comes to like this, they've got two options: either change their ownership structure
Mm.
and get a gajillionaire in,
Yeah.
right, for 2050.
It's billionaire. We're in 2021 right now.
Okay, but we want to stay ahead of the time.
Yeah.
See, you get a gajillionaire, then you beat out the trillionaires and the billionaires.
But then, like, some supercalifragilisticexpialidocious will come through and, blow you out the park.
Don't be ridiculous, Umar. I don't think that's a thing.
do you think someone like Jeff Bezos is looking to get a football team? A soccer team, I should say.
Well, he'd get a soccer team to play aliens in Mars or something. Like, I don't think it's too interesting.
Remember for a while there was that Adidas thing, I think, where there were aliens attending?
Galaxy, Samsung.
Yeah, Samsung Galaxy. Yeah.
That was like the whole Galaxy thing, right? Like
Mhm.
where they go out, and I remember they managed to put Messi and Ronaldo on the same team. That was probably the most impressive thing Samsung's ever done in their life. But yeah, it's just going back to it.
Yeah.
If Madrid and Barcelona, Juventus, these guys can't like manage to compete for signings anymore,
Mhm.
in a couple of years, it's just gonna be Premier League clubs
Mhm.
because of their great revenue, and credit to them. It's
Yeah.
it's probably the most watchable and most profitable league because
Mhm.
of their great TV revenues.
Yeah.
Going up against Paris Saint-Germain
Mhm.
and Bayern Munich in the form of them buying all the local talent in
That's true.
Bundesliga.
That's true. See, the thing is, right, with the Super League, I get why Madrid, Barca, and Juventus want it to go through. However, if you're not gonna get the Premier League clubs on board, I don't think it can go through, can it?
It can't. No, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
Like, Premier League clubs are probably the foundation of the Super League.
Yeah.
Going back to the watchability of it,
Mm-hmm.
you know how what's it called, football fans in England and everywhere else,
Yeah. It's all about the marketing
It's-
as well.
it's
Who's
so much-
watching it?
like it. Premier League's marketing, like for example, you look back, right?
Mm-hmm.
I knew of Manchester United since like the day one,
Yeah.
right? I found out about Real Madrid through a Pepsi bottle. I'm not even
Yeah.
kidding. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
I like 5 years old, 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Pepsi and Real Madrid did this thing where they had all the Galacticos on the Pepsi bottle,
Yeah.
and that's how I knew about Real Madrid.
Yeah. Okay. They are making moves now. La Liga's TV signing Gary Lineker.
Yeah, that's La
Um,
Liga TV though.
no, that's the thing though, right? Right now in La Liga, there's not enough like of a an old player, or for
Yeah.
example a coach that you want to listen to who's good on TV,
Mm.
and signing Lineker gives them that.
No, I that
And
that's a
obviously
good
with the
point.
language barrier as well, if they have good hosts in Spanish, the whole world speaks English mainly. No one's gonna really
No,
understand or watch
I
that.
think your last
So
point is completely spot on.
yeah.
The language barrier, I think that's what helps English Premier League so much.
Mhm.
Just that, like, English is considered like the global language now,
Mhm.
and everyone speaks it almost, right? So
Yeah.
it gets across much easier. All
Mhm.
right, and that's why, for example, the commentary to find it in English, just much more easy.
Yeah.
When you're first, what's it called, approached with watching football,
Mhm.
and if you don't really understand the commentary, I don't think you're gonna latch on.
Exactly.
Okay. Afterwards, if you're already a hook football fan like me, then you watch it in Spanish, Arabic,
Arabic.
English, French. It's not really gonna matter, right?
Mhm.
But when your first perception of football, your first experience of it,
Mhm.
if it's not gonna be in a language you understand, it's just gonna be difficult for you.
Yeah.
So that's why I think English Premier League has always thrived.
Yeah.
Fun story, by the way,
Mhm.
when the English Premier League became the English Premier League,
Mhm.
right? When it broke from the football pyramid, the
Mm.
English football pyramid,
Yeah.
it was going to be called the Super League.
Oh,
It was
okay.
going to be called like the English Super League or the Super League,
Yeah.
but they didn't want to come off as
Arrogant.
cocky.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. They don't want to be that arrogant, cocky type.
Yeah.
So they were like, let's tone it down.
English Premier League.
Let's make it English Premier League. And they also went through the whole process
Mhm.
that the current Super League is going through.
Oh, okay.
Except for back then, there wasn't such a knit tight governing body, or like
Mm.
there wasn't gonna anything happening, so it just
It just
went
went
smoothly.
through. Yeah. Oh. I guess within England, the clubs who wanted to break away had way too much power compared to the rest, and the others had no choice but to follow, right?
Yeah, it was more so of just the whole league
Mm-hmm.
breaking. It wasn't a club breaking away.
Yeah.
It was literally Division 1 breaking away.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very different, and it was like led by like that whole division.
Yeah.
And
If they all say the same thing, who's gonna oppose them?
because the whole magic of the cup story of the FA Cup
Yeah.
is because FA Cup was always televised and everyone would watch it.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the magic came from. Like
Mhm.
everyone was tuned in, for that moment.
Not just that. It's the fact that anyone can compete in it.
Yeah, that too. But like
Amateur teams,
like
whoever.
in
Yeah.
in the late 80s, 90s, right before the breaking of the
Yeah.
Premier League, this is what happened.
Yeah.
Because they were able to, watch that, and the Division 1 at that time
Mm-hmm.
of the English Football League, they were like, hey,
Yeah.
why don't we just do that,
Mm-hmm.
but with all of our games?
Yeah.
Why don't we televise all of our games and let's make the most money out of it?
Mm.
And that's where the trade-off between FA Cup and the league came.
I guess the only bad thing about the other leagues, like the Spanish, French, German, Italian, is that they didn't do it sooner. They thought about a European Super League in 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like I don't know how excited you are,
Mhm.
like with this new Champions League format,
Okay.
because I'm not too thrilled.
No, neither am I.
Like I don't think it's very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's gonna be very watchable, because if you're gonna have so many matches, it's just gonna drown out.
Mhm.
You're just gonna be like, but they played that club in that day.
Yeah.
Now they're playing.
That just happened. Why should I
You're
watch
not
it?
gonna be
Yeah.
able to keep up with all those games.
Exactly.
Even though broadcasters would broadcast them,
Yeah.
and fine, sure, maybe people will be watching them, but
Yeah.
personally, for like majority of the world, like
Mhm.
they'll be busy,
Yeah.
right? Like you put more games on them, they're gonna start taking for granted. They're like, okay, what? I'll catch the next one, and that's what we
Exactly.
thought was gonna happen with the Super League as well, right?
Exactly.
Where like you're gonna have too many big games.
You're
that
gonna have an Arsenal versus Barca you're not gonna want to watch, and then a Barca versus Juventus that all of a sudden you want to tune into.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like over time, right?
Hmm.
like the likes of Tottenham and Arsenal is just gonna become like West Brom versus Norwich City,
Exactly. No,
and you're just
completely.
gonna be like, you know what? Thank you very much.
I'm not gonna tune
I'm
into
gonna
that
skip
game.
on that one. Yeah.
And then and if you hear Sam, you'd find the top clubs in the European Super League wanting to break away from the Arsenals and the Tottenhams.
That comes when we get your gajillionaires in 2071.
I think it comes sooner. I think it's with the trillionaires.
Trillionaires, and they're trillionaires.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm.
What is Jeff Bezos' net worth?
He's a billionaire. He's got 200
Only?
something billion.
I thought he'd be a trillionaire by now.
Over a trillion is a lot.
I know it's a lot, but I was just
No,
expecting him
it's
to
a
be
lot over.
Okay.
He's 100 billionaire. He's 200 billion, like
Mm.
200 something billion. And there's a few hundred billionaires. I think him, Elon Musk, Bill Gates.
Mm.
These three guys or so are like 100 billions, and
Yeah.
Warren Buffett. So like Zuckerberg is up there too.
Mm.
Like these 4 or 5 guys are.
Like breaking away. They have a Super League of their own.
Yeah, it's quite literally. They have the Super Money League.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, think of it, like
Mm.
200 billion,
Yeah.
you know, and they needed a 10 billion investment just for
Yeah.
the, what's it called? Europe Super League?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it wouldn't be like problematic at all for these guys if you come to think of it.
Yeah. No, it's nothing for them. It's pocket change.
I wouldn't say pocket change. It's like literally 10% of the net worth.
It's.
I wouldn't call it 10% of your net worth pocket change.
It is if you're buying a Mars bar and you only have £10 to your name.
And you're gonna buy like a Mars bar with £1. Remember,
Yeah.
you're an accountant.
Yeah.
This isn't great advertising for advertisement for you. Like, yes, let's sell 10% of our assets because I want to buy a Mars bar.
Mars bar.
Are you craving a Mars bar right now?
I'm not. No, weird. I like their ice cream. I like
Mars
their
ice cream?
Yeah, the Mars ice cream.
I'm not much for these chocolate ice creams, to be
Really?
honest.
The Twix one is so good. It has those little balls with the wafers inside that taste so nice every time you bite
No,
into it. No.
I haven't had that one. I've had the Mars one and the Galaxy one.
Okay. The
Uh,
Galaxy one's just plain
and
boring.
the Snickers one.
Okay.
The Snickers one is okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't really that taste doesn't really work with ice cream.
Mm.
It works
Okay.
with chocolate. It doesn't really work with ice cream. Same with Mars.
Yeah.
So that's why I prefer the Galaxy one.
The Twix one and the Malteser ones are good. I think you should try those.
Oh yeah, the Maltese one. I've had that. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good as well.
Okay, let's end this video here and then let's
We could have just continued. It's fine.
no and then we can start with the transfers.